Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Roka, Chodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder apostle, Aharawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp, here in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Karab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today I'll be coming out with a lesson on this article. I was just looking for something, a lesson to do, and this caught my attention, and it says here, and it made me think about 2nd Ezra chapter 15. You know, when things get so serious, people are gonna be wanting to try to flee. Well, and they ain't gonna be able to. Well, this is what made me think about it. I'm gonna read most of this article. I ain't gonna read the last part of it because it gets into jargon. It's not a very long article, but without further ado, let's get right into it. As it says, another country makes call to cancel all visas for Babylonians. I'm going to say it like that. It says, after President Trump expanded the travel ban he put in place during his first term in the White House to 20 more countries and the Palestinian Authority last December, at least 3 other nations responded in turn with visa bans for Babylonians. On December 26th, and that wasn't too long ago, the West African nation of Niger announced, it's not pronounced Niger, but I'm saying Niger for, let's continue. This is announced that it was completely and permanently prohibiting the issuance of visas to all U.S. citizens, to all Babylonian citizens, and indefinitely banning entry to its territory for nationals of the United Babylon States. So, off rip right there, and it says nationals. Those nationals, they represent, like, we'll say congressmen and people in power. So now no deals can be made. So now, like, that's a cutoff. But let's continue. It says, after it was included in the list of countries whose citizens are completely banned from entering the U.S. last June, were completely banned instead of were completely banned. Who'll be writing these articles are retarded. But were completely banned from entering the U.S. last June. The government of Chad similarly announced that it was acting upon principles of reciprocity and suspending the granting of visas to citizens of the United States of Babylon. And it says, as of January 2026, 39 countries now face either a full travel ban or restrictions on various types of visas for entering the states. Burkina Faso and Mali both ban travel from Babylon. The latest country to respond is the West African nation of Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation sharing borders with 6 other countries. Burkina Faso announced that it had put in place equivalent visa measures to citizens of the United States of Babylon. And it says, while this currently means a full ban on visas necessary to enter the country, Burkina Faso said it remains committed to mutual respect, the sovereign equality of states, and the principle of reciprocity in its international relations. So it's like, hey man, we basically, these nations are doing the exact same thing that Babylon is doing. This President Babylon, he does something. Guess what? These nations follow right up. It's called reciprocating. And that, again, that goes into, like, when things really hit the fan here in Babylon, people are gonna try and flee and run to other places. Not just from city to city. They're gonna be trying to get out of the country. Or should I say get out of this corporation, away from this corporation. But they ain't gonna be able to. Well, let's continue. It says, due to a decades-old history of war, coupled with political violence, Western travel into Burkina Faso remains very low. The U.S. State Department currently keeps it at a level 4. I don't know what that. I guess a do not travel advisory over organizations that continue to plan and conduct, terrorist activities. But let's continue. It says that you know what you got the main terrorist calling everybody else terrorists. That's like the pot calling the kettle black. But let's continue. It says the latter along with a high visa overstay rate were named by the Trump administration as the primary justification for being placed on. Yeah, it's just this double causing problems. That's all it is. It says sharing a southwestern border with Burkina Faso, Mali has also put in place a reciprocal ban on Babylonian travel. It says the country's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation released a statement saying that any Babylonian citizens will now be subject to the same conditions and requirements as those imposed by Babylonian authorities on Malian citizens entering the United States. Together, Chad and Niger, it's actually pronounced the other way, but I ain't gonna say that. A total of 4 African countries have now implemented travel bans on Babylonians, while others placed on the list have responded with less drastic expressions of disappointment. Let's see. Yeah, and that's the end there. So there you go. I don't really like looking at that mother hubbard like that. But there you go. So travel ban. So it's gonna get to a point to where you ain't gonna be able to go nowhere. And of course this is all by design. We know it. Of course, the ultimate will of the Heavenly Father Yahweh to have these things to happen, because this place is being cut off. These other nations are turning against Big Satan. They're turning against the whore that rides upon the scarlet covered beast. And it's finna get real. It's finna get for real. People thought because they had a decent Saturnalia day, and then they thought they had a decent Janus celebration, that everything gonna be all right. No, it's not. It's always a calm before the storm. I just got one precept. Well, a few. Yahweh Ratazah. But this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. I'm gonna just verse 14. But my point is verse 17. But I'm gonna read down. This is woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe. That is judgment coming to the earth, to the whole earth. The Lord gonna bust up Babylon, but it's really the Lord judgment coming to the whole earth. So that means it ain't gonna just be Babylon that's gonna suffer some judgment. Why? Because of this wickedness that's running rampant in the earth. Verse 15, it says, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. So the sword draweth nigh. We know what the destruction, the judgment is drawing ever closer. We're getting ever closer to furniture moving. Gonna get to a point where people are gonna start to stand up and fighting each other, going against each other with swords in their hand. We know what the modern day sword is, and actual weapons, actual swords, actual bladed weapons. But people are gonna be spoiling each other. They're gonna be fighting each other, because it's gonna be why? Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their action shall stand in their power. So it's going to be sedition. It's going to be pandemonium and chaos everywhere. So guess what? That's going to cause people to arm up. That's going to cause people to defend with extreme prejudice their piece of property or land or possessions or everything. But that's going to also cause people that are lacking, that don't have, to go and pillage, to go and spoil other households. And it's going to get so bad that people, they ain't gonna be listening to no National Guards. They ain't gonna be listening to no congressmen. They ain't gonna be listening to no mayors. They ain't gonna be listening to no presidents. They're gonna take matters into their own hands. because they're going to feel like the ruling powers over them or the ruling authorities over them is not efficient. So people are going to take matters into their own hands. My point. And it's going to get that bad. My point, which sparked this, which this article made me think of, verse 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. It's going to get that bad. People are going to be they're going to be wanting to desire to go into another city and ain't going to be able to go. Why? Blockades, checkpoints. And for people that try to leave the country, these travel bans, they ain't going to be able to go nowhere. They ain't going to be able to get away from it. All hell is finna break loose for real, for real. And ain't nobody paying it no attention except the men of the Lord, the hopeful elect, the cluster of the great, that the Lord kept unto himself. And the 1/3 men, women, and children that believe. Everybody else ain't paying no attention. It's finna get real out here. And it ain't finna happen. Hey, they say, oh, it's finna happen 20, 30 years. No. 2026 done already kicked off with a bang already. If you've been paying attention. Articles, stories, things have been happening. Talk about one day, 2 teenagers done already got pie-out. Already. I don't know if they died or not, but they already got pie-out. They done found some lady non-existent. No life in her body already. It ain't even been a week. So it is what it is. But it's going to get that bad that people are going to want to flee and run and go to other places, and they ain't going to be able to. So, yeah. It's best to buckle down and lock in with Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Because it's the only way that you won't die. It is what it is. Ain't no sugarcoating nothing. So, yeah, it was just a quick, I ain't going to say a quick lesson, but a lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And, let me see. And with that, Shalom.